we go. In the bottom right hand side, we are going to have ourselves the red Zerg player. This is Lambo. He takes on the blue Protoss. In the bottom left corner of the map, we have got ShoWTimE. Fun PvZ coming in here. Excited to see how Lambo plays this. As ShoWTimE has been playing some very good PvZ lately as well. I actually like this side of the bracket for him. I don't think it's a guaranteed like advance or anything, but I actually think there's a very good chance ShoWTimE moves through to the finals in this tournament, so there's a good shot of that one. Pro patrolling on the natural, gateway coming up, and hatchery coming online. Oh, you guys want to gamble again? Yeah, you guys are degenerates. Hang on. There you go. Go out. Alright, so opening game, best of 5 series. Start this off as the probe just going to come nibbling for a couple of moments here and there. Put some work in. Hatch, gas, and pool, the choice from Lambo. Obviously, the probe of ShoWTimE did successfully block Lambo from the natural, so ShoWTimE's early probe across the map pays off for him in that regard. That Overlord is coming up at the front, the hatchery coming down on the third base, so we get that going. Couple lings moving about, the probe moving over there. It's going to be seeing the lings jumping onto that. Again, the ling will hit the probe a couple of times. Nothing too major. The Stargate, the choice from ShoWTimE as well, gives us pretty much the most expected kind of go-to setup for the moment, I would say. This really does not seem like too heavy of a surprise thus far. Everything really is just kind of slotting into place of expectation here in the early stages. Two adepts again continue to step over to that right hand side, so they'll make their way right across over there. Again, take a few or make a few moves to see if they can get to anywhere specifically intriguing, as the couple of lings are going to come about and they're going to start hitting the adepts in return as well. So adepts will take some damage. 2 shots coming over. The defense is good, not going to get in to do too much damage right away here. The next adept will come and join up as well, so that will also get involved momentarily. Oracle is going to be Chrono boosting along. Couple probes coming about, looking to protect the hatchery coming online. We see the Zerglings and so coming up as well. Handful of adepts is going to get straight onto those Zerglings, just going to get straight in, pick away at a bunch of those. I mean, this is not bad, right? Even just clean up lings, it's going to make you make more lings, which means less drones. So there is absolutely a benefit to kind of trading like this. It's not a terrible call, not a terrible choice. Spore Crawler is just going to wiggle its way down to the low ground, so just going to get in position there and get settled. As you have the Adepts and the Oracles will gather up together again. So we gather those around. Going to have a few Adepts will once more step forward here. As you just see the Oracles overhead. And trying to fly through. The Adepts are going to commit. And the Lings are nearby. The Oracles can't really help because the Queens are zoning nicely. The Adepts do have the position behind the mineral line, which means they do survive a long time against the Lings. We do get 3 drones. One Adept shades out and a couple drones transferring there. As now the Oracles finally find a chance to get involved without taking too much damage. Good pull back from Lambo though, and he makes sure to not let the Oracles do too much else there either. Like I say, pretty solid defense in the early stages by Lambo. I like what he's been able to do. He's minimized a lot of the drone losses that, you know, oftentimes Protoss players find. Very good starting pointers. Feelings will test the waters on the other side. The third Oracle coming in to play defense there. 5 Adepts got 3 drones, 18 Lings. Not nothing, right? Like, you know, I'm not trying to say that this was the most, you know, it was kind of very down the middle of the line, I guess, is the way I want to say it. You know, I think both players are going to be fairly happy. Lambo didn't lose too much. What he did lose was mostly Zerglings. That's okay compared to losing drones. ShoWTimE got some value out of the units. He didn't, you know, put his opponent really, like, super far behind, but I don't think he's, like I say, overly upset about that either. Just a couple Queens will just hit the Oracles. And push back. The Queen fire good to push them the other way. So I got Blinking +1 coming online. So we bring those upgrades up. The Storm are going to be in addition to that as well. The Station Pit is still very much so on its way about here for the moment. Get some stasis wards into the center, and the Stalk is still gathering. Lurkden, Hive, continuing through now as the Ling Overlord Hydra continues into production. Let's have a few Stalkers stepping back into the center as the Oracles chill out overhead. Lurkden is going to be on its way, so we see where Lambo's taking this. Obviously, a Storm on the way up. I think it's right for him to be teching heavily as well. So I think both players are making good calls in these early stages. The Storm is about to finish. Charge and +2 attack coming about. The gates are coming over. There is another little revelation. Just keeping an eye on the main base. Keeping a track on it. Okay, Hive is on the way. You know, we know about that. That's good information to have. It can allow ShoWTimE to play around the idea of Hive and just what sort of timing expectations he might have. So, yes, just keeping a track of where Lambo is at and where his production is. Lambo's been playing very well the last couple of days, I will say. Starting to play in a couple more tournaments and getting some decent results. He played some really fun games in his group yesterday. He got out on a rough match score, but I do really think that he played well. As that Ling Hydra gathers up together up on that top side, so just seeing where that might go to. Meanwhile, the Oracle's going to come back around the south. And +2 missiles, sizing spines continue to come online here. We get that underway as well to continue to bring that through currently. Marine's too young for this tournament? Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. Damn, Gabe's got that youth to him, huh? That's crazy. It is kind of wild. You know what? I felt like a lot of players would be able to play at 28 plus being the requirement, but I actually am surprised at who can't play more than anything. Like Zaun couldn't play, Skillus. You know, some of these guys you just... I don't want to say you forget about them. You don't really forget about them, just don't really track how old they are. As you see, our Stalker's going to intercept the Lurker drop. One Lurker gets out of that first attempted Overlord. And she stasis ward, catches a couple too. Defense already looking very good for ShoWTimE here. Has a Tempest out. Lambo is still threatening the idea of an attack up around the top side of the map as well. I think that's a very comfortable defense so far, and the drop lords get pushed away. Good job from ShoWTimE thus far. The forward base is a little bit risky. That high ground can obviously be used by the Zerg, and that's exactly what we're seeing done. ShoWTimE's gonna, I mean, he's not gonna give this up, right? He's just gonna find an angle of attack. But now he's actually giving up the low ground. He kind of moved up to the high ground to fight the high ground. Now he moves back into position on the low ground. This next is actually gonna fall, so ShoWTimE's gonna lose a 4th base. Still has some harass going in toward his main. Again, he's had Tempest and the Mothership coming through, but he's just not quite there yet. The drop lords go down. Do we have detection? No? Oh no. Bunch of units going down, man. I felt like ShoWTimE was starting to defend very well to start this game off, but it's all going a little bit wrong now as Lambo will press in. Losing a 4th base obviously feels very bad for ShoWTimE. He's got no replacement base on the way up, so it's not like he's just a step away from relocating some workers and we're all good. Looks like the Immortal died in the main base too, trying to play cleanup, and ShoWTimE does get pulled apart a little bit, so Lambo with some success here. Actually going to see good opportunity for himself as the Mothership resonates forward. We're just going to retake the exact same position. Again, was mostly caught off guard by Lambo getting to the high ground, and trying to fight that high ground right off the bat is what kind of made this a more awkward situation. ShoWTimE continues to add Tempest and Immortals in, hoping to have enough to really truly scare away any sort of lurker play here. I mean, the hope for ShoWTimE is that his army's about to become efficient enough he can make up for having the much later base. Lambo's already set up to attack from the top left. I don't mind that ShoWTimE is poking, but like I say, I think we got to defend back at home as well. You can't let your 4th base go down again here. That's going to be a problem if it does. The few lurkers get into position. It's a lot of units from Lambo too. It's a good combination of units. It's not just like a couple of lings. There's a bit of everything, but yeah, ShoWTimE pulls back. He actually gets a lot of that. We're trying to push forward with the army too. The lurker's trying to get into a forward position there, but yeah, ShoWTimE is able to hold. That's a much nicer moment from ShoWTimE, who is going to introduce Lambo's next set of tech to the game by, because he's been building the Tempest, and so Lambo now introducing the Corruptors. So Lambo responding to where this game is going to. The more Tempests there are, the more realistically you just need Corruptors to start dealing with these and to start clearing up the skies. So that becomes a very valid point. The concern I have for ShoWTimE is obviously this 4th base being denied. Feels like maybe you get to a slow 5th, and that might become interesting. And funnily enough, here on El Dorado, we haven't seen a single player really touch the bottom side of the map. I think Lambo might be starting to mine out to access that side of the expansions now, but he hasn't really gone there before now, so like I said, it's kind of an interesting call. You have units in position there, the Time Warp coming down, and his lurkers forced back up to the top. So once again, defense is good from ShoWTimE, whose army going to be maxed out shortly. And a maxed out Protoss is always a very scary Protoss. Let's see if ShoWTimE is going to make that reign true in this one as well. Hydra Lurker coming back around. We just see our +3 missiles coming up, +2 air weapons on the way, shields coming through. Lurkers are going to burrow and try and just surge forwards onto this. We do start to lose some units to this, of course. Big push. As we do see the Corruptor showing up. They don't quite get rid of the first Tempest, and the Tempest will fire back in return. I feel like we're missing detection more than anything, but there are the Oracles. That's what I was looking for. Look for the Revelations coming down. Another couple of Storms starting to come through as we, I guess, try and play cleanup on the Corruptors. Lambo very aggressive with this shove forward. He does successfully get some Lurkers in reach on the top side. That's very important, of course, because the main thing you don't want in ShoWTimE is to lose your 4th again. As he's just going to split up. He's going to come in from 2 sides. He doesn't have much of a choice right here. He's just got to kind of send this and get the cleanup. Otherwise, he's in trouble. I mean, like I say, you can't let this position stand. The Corruptors will chase through for all of the Tempests. ShoWTimE supply is just dropping. I don't even know if it was a particularly terrible trade versus just he doesn't have the economy to rebuild from that as comfortably as Lambo does. Lambo rebuilding Ling, Hydra, and a handful of Lurkers. Yeah, you can argue. I mean, we get rid of every single Corruptor, bar this one, bar that one. There's a few new ones that just got made in there on the way up there as well, but I mean, ShoWTimE holds and the 4th base lives. Like I say, my concern really is sitting on what does he do for 5th base? How long can he just sit on 4 bases? 4 bases are not exactly the most crazy of, work accounts either. 55 probes is not exactly like pumping economy. There's going to be a thing here where there's a reason why he's not getting close to maxing out super quickly, because his income just isn't, like I say, all that great. And see some Hydra setting up from the top side, so they're looking to come in from a different angle here, trying to get a wraparound on this. There are Storms available, and Hydra's alone. Obviously, not going to be the best against the Storms. We've got to figure out what we want to drop Storms onto and prioritize. The priority right now has been clearing out the Lurkers, and ShoWTimE does this very well. This was a very good fight for him, as he's just got one Lurker to eat through that was already burrowed. There's a few more Lurkers coming in now. That should be ShoWTimE's point to turn around, unless he really felt like he had enough just to go for it. I just don't think... I think that's a very difficult call to make. You don't know immediately how many lurkers are there. It's very tough to know that you've got enough to step into that size. About to be surprised if he continued through. He did stop and he did turn around. He might have been able to take the fight, but you've got to be very careful with how much you're giving away at any point in time right here. ShoWTimE, the benefit of holding this kind of forward central area is now he can take the gold base, and he can kind of hold that same position already. The issue he's going to have is as Lambo comes down and takes position on the bottom side of the map, he will begin to be able to maybe siege that gold base from the other side, and that's something you've got to be always on top of. Lambo just lost a lot of his map control because he just F2'd everything back. A bunch of kind of scouting zerglings that were off on the map and in position just got pulled back right there, so a little bit of his vision just being removed as he goes for the F2. And try and come for the wraparound again, dives in. Okay, so the gold base is going to go down just from the center. ShoWTimE's just stepping forward and was not ready for Lambo to make the dive down to the bottom. At the same time, Lambo's making the dive up to the top, and as ShoWTimE just about chases away the bottom side, top side gets in position, and again, it's probes that will not mine for a few moments. ShoWTimE's army is getting better and better, though. I mean, we're on more lurkers than ever before. A couple of storms here helping out. There's still a case of just trying to really protect away from the blings. Do not lose too many of your workers because you do not exactly have a ton of economy. Lambo was right-clicking the Nexus for a few moments. You can see where ShoWTimE's army power comes from right now, though, and this is the thing. ShoWTimE's been improving this army throughout, and Lambo is still on Ling Hydra. And I think that's where his issue is going to be right now, is he did a very good job of putting ShoWTimE in a very difficult spot. I think ShoWTimE responded very appropriately where he said, I can sit on 4 bases for a lot longer than it really looks like. You know, I was very worried for him, but I think he really said, like, you know, actually, I'm okay to kind of sit here on 4 bases. My army will eventually become very, very good. This attack got messy. The Blinding Cloud was actually really good. Stopped a bunch of Archons from attacking. This is why I worry more for ShoWTimE. Like, now maybe if this push doesn't do it, maybe you really do need a 5th base. But his army was always going to be very strong, and that was always going to be a threat. And he just didn't try and create too much real estate for Lambo to pull him apart too much on, because Lambo was already doing a lot of work with him only sitting on 4 bases. You go to 5 bases so too quickly, then Lambo has even more positions to try and attack on, even more positions to make ShoWTimE be out of position for. The Blinding Cloud was so good there. That was absolutely critical. As we have the detection, there is an observer overhead. These lurkers get caught, so it's a nice catch from ShoWTimE, getting ahead and getting jump on one of those positions. And I love the double expand, top left and the gold. If he can get one of those 2 bases up, it really answers some of the problems of where are we going in this game. Will he be able to keep mining? Skull is so close to being done, but once again, he's just not quite in position for this army stepping over. There's only a handful of lurkers here, though. I feel like this is engageable. Good storms onto the Hydras. We're coming in from 2 sides. There are units moving to the upper left, but we're going to end up saving the gold base for ShoWTimE. So ShoWTimE will protect one of these 2 bases. He's just about cleans up this army in time to pull back and to deal with the high ground position that's going to be set up here as well, I believe. I mean, the Nexus might actually be in some trouble. The probes peel it back. 12 workers lost. ShoWTimE is definitely, again, not in a great economy position, but Lambo, for all the economy he has with 84 drones, is now down 20 army supply, and ShoWTimE with another good cleanup. Can he identify the opportunity to now maybe move across the map a little bit? Lurkers morph in, army gathers in the center, top left side. Zeld, Archon, Immortal will go firing through, get rid of the lurker. Everything else taking damage. The few Hydras go boosting across. Hydra Lurker continues to move about. We do see our Adrenal Glands, our plus melee upgrade coming on through as well, so we continue to get that going. And that Hydra Lurker force just gathering together. Adrenal Glands melee upgrade coming through. The Lurkers will burrow onto the bottom. More army. Hands up to the top side. Melee upgrade Lurkers. Continuing through for the moment is our Archon Tempest. The Mortal High Templar Force gathers around. The Zelds are going to come about as well. We dive forward. A couple of those lurkers begin to go down, dropping very quickly. We get good jumps on this. And we're going to see a bunch of those lurkers go down again. Lurkers are one of the better things you can get rid of because they're some of the scary units you can play with. Haven't really stopped to look at Lambo's side of the map because it's been all about pressure, but just a quick update. He is mining off this gold base. He has mined this gold base. This base is mining too. That's the problem for ShoWTimE really is that Lambo has endless bases to work on. This is why, again, this position here I mentioned a long time ago, the possibility of just shooting across the gold minerals was always going to be a fear factor. Actually get rid of 3 lurkers here, which maybe lurkers are just stood still. The Tempest's going to get to continue to pick away at them. We've got chaos going on elsewhere as Lings, lurkers, and Hydras are fighting. The Tempest need to be careful here. They get jumped on this time. It's ShoWTimE that's not paying attention. First, it was Lambo losing a lot of lurkers there. Now ShoWTimE loses a bunch of Tempests. The continuous problem for ShoWTimE is going to be dealing with the fact that his economy is low. He has to continue to take good trades. Now he's going to be in a really awkward spot. Lings are going to try and threaten for that Immortal. He's going to be caught in his own Sim City. Revelation goes down. He needs to get rid of the lurkers so he can bring everything else through much more comfortably. The Hydras will begin to go down. Those Lings did find both the Immortals that were stuck in that corner. The lurkers are still surviving here. We abduct the Oracle. Getting rid of that. Lambo's army supplies once again trailing off as ShoWTimE does have the top left base surviving and living through this. There's no follow-up attack. There's no attack elsewhere during this. If there was an attack through the center right now, ShoWTimE would be losing so much. That lurker does not get burrowed in time, and ShoWTimE might be able to deny a gold base here. What does he want to do? He's going to compete for the watchtower. Does he have any units to the top? He has a lot of units top left, but yeah, the fourth base, the forward base is where Lambo finds. So he will find a weak point. It's a fresher base on the top left-hand side. That's somewhere you have to really respect now because Lambo needs to maybe get rid of that to really knock ShoWTimE down. I mean, ShoWTimE will start to defend. That top left base will be held onto. It's an easier position to defend, I feel like, at this stage. This forward base seems as though it's been a problem throughout. There's a few morphing lurkers. 2 get caught. A couple do get to burrow up, get to finish morphing and move away. We have got Archons that need to step back away from these Lings. I think we've overcommitted down in this position. ShoWTimE, he's going to have to try and kite the Tempest out of here as well, but the Hydras have that lunge nowadays, and those Tempests are going to get overrun. ShoWTimE played a beautiful attempt of staying alive here, but it was not good enough. In the top right corner, our Blue Pro display here. Down a game and looking to try and bounce back. We are going to have ShoWTimE. I really feel like that forward fourth base really killed him. I really feel like that just was a little bit too vulnerable and got abused so heavily. And obviously, El Dorado works very differently to a lot of other maps, so we won't really get to see the same thing again, but I wonder what ShoWTimE thinks about that, or if he just feels like maybe he could have done a bit better just knowing where his opponent was going to be. Bottom left, our red Zerg player is Lambo, up a game in this best of 5. Will we see some of that more killer instinct kind of Zerg coming out from him? He does typically, mix in some drone pull, not drone pulls, like queen walks in, so drone pulls. Some queen walks and so into his play a lot of the time, so we'll see what happens. Going to take a few moments. Once again, the hatchery gets forced from Lambo to the third base location, so that will not stick on the natural at all. I've really been enjoying some of the European StarCraft we had again lately. I'm really tempted to bring back the European League or so this year. I really think it'd be fun to have the European League back. Just like one night a week. Have the European League play over to like 2 months or something. Just one night a week. We have some StarCraft. That'd be great. I really be missing some of the Europe versus Europe games. I feel like it's always so much fun. Start going over. A couple of queens and the Ling speed coming up. We got the Overlord coming around. A single Ling gonna jump onto a probe already. You but forget to invite Max Pax and Clam. Yeah. That's the plan, right? They don't count as Europeans anymore. They're god. they've been ascended to god status. It's a whole new level. Coming about, our link speed coming on through, so we get set up here at the moment, getting settled. couple of queens just gonna go toward the adepts. Let's see what's up. Neo has left the game, 1998. Thank you so much for the 2-month resub on the Prime. EU League sounds great. We didn't do European League in a year or two. I think we should bring it back. Meanwhile, I'm like, I think Hero's not very good. Look, I didn't make the rules for this tournament. These are not my rules. I think it's going to make their way up to the top side. Drones, Overlord, and the Queen coming about. Oracle will fly a couple of things taking damage. What are the rules to participate? 28 years of age or older. That's why it's called the Boomer Bash. It's only for the oldest of StarCraft players. Oracle's going to get in there. They get rid of a drone. Going to be a nice catch already. Things will start. I'm just going to hit the rocks a little, open up some space. The lair and the drone's still building. The evolution chamber coming up as well. I see a complete mix-up from ShoWTimE with that resonating glaives on the way. Lambo taking this forward gold base, being exposed. Lair on the way, only a swarm pull up at the moment. He doesn't recognize how aggressive ShoWTimE is about to be here. He might just die. Hydrogen as well is not going to help you. Hydras are going to be very rough to start off with here. As this right now, this just looks like a little bit of an adept Oracle poke. And maybe you make some Zerglings. The more Zerglings you force right now, I feel like you're okay about, because you want to clean up those Zerglings with the Glaive Adepts, right? So you force some already. That means a few less drones before you make... I mean, I guess you could just say the other way around, that maybe if you just drones, then you're in trouble anyway. Lambo's close to being able to afford a few Hydras, but with the amount of Adepts ShoWTimE is going to show up with, I do think it's going to be very difficult for him to not at least find some damage, right? I mean, he's going to have 6, 8 gateways of Adept Warpins. Yeah, this feels like you should definitely be able to find something here. As those 3 Hydras coming up. Again, even if you're just killing off the Hydras are expensive investments. You're going to go charge after this. The Adepts are showing up onto the gold base right now, and Lambo is going to begin to recognize what is going on. A couple of Queens in the front here going to get jumped on. Do we have a transfusion to buy time? We do not, as the Adepts go into that corner. Going to find another Queen once the transfusion fades. The damage through it. They're nicely clumped up here as the Zerglings try to find the wraparound as best they can. Sends a few more Lings around the top to improve that wraparound. Gets into the main base, finds some of the Hydras already. Kites back against the Zerglings. There are going to be a few more Adepts showing up, and now they're going to hit the mineral line. And we're going to be able to look for some more drone kills here as we turn onto the Hydralisks once more. Shade back down. Actually going to gather up toward the third base, where again, more spawning Hydras go down. Some drones are dropping. The follow-up to this is already charged, +2. The Robo facility coming in. And these Adepts are probably not going to shade into that army that's looking quite sizable. I wouldn't actually hate us just backing away right now. Threaten the shades. Regather a little bit. The one thing, I don't know if we want to actually dive onto this amount of Hydras. Let's see. We're going to send it onto the Ling Hydra here. A couple transfusions coming in. A couple of final Adepts coming up. We're going to try and step toward the Hydras. A few more Lings going down. ShoWTimE. Yeah, it was a good call then. It was a great call. He gets rid of pretty much every single Zergling. And now there's only a couple of Queens left, so we can come in with the Oracles for a few moments while the Hydras are busy. The Hydras hit the Oracles. Great. The Adepts can get rid of the Hydras during that time, and more Adepts showing up again. We've got a Baneling Nest obviously finally coming through as ShoWTimE is again going to commit onto the Hydras here. A little bit of target fire to get rid of some of them. Lambo is down 14 workers, and again, with most of the Hydras dead, the Oracles are still coming through to do a lot of work. They kill off a couple more Hydras, although hitting the Spore Crawler is not ideal. This should be the end of that wave of Adepts, although we are back with some more Adepts on the gold base, and that gold will take some more damage as well, so the gold is going to be shouldn't die, realistically. As a Stalker shows up, not sure where he came from. Oh, that's a good surround, and the Adept's derping, not fighting back at all. The Shade Cam coming in a little bit too late there. The reinforcing Adepts are going to arrive a bit too late as well. That's a nicer moment for Lambo. I mean, ShoWTimE's obviously continued to just send Adepts across the map. He has up 14 workers, so if he can continue to just force trades, he should overall end up in a pretty okay spot. I think the problem for ShoWTimE right now is he keeps kind of taking trades out in the open where he's not got any choke points. He's just out and fully surrounded, so the last few Adepts have gone down a little bit lackluster in kind of their effects. Archon's morphing in, we can get some buffer in front. We already have charge, right? We're actually getting blink now as well. I don't think Lambo will make much happen if he tried to counterattack, but he is just going to saturate the gold base. He's not going to drone. Looks as though he's just going to go for it. He will have access to Banelings, but no Baneling speed. Now, the last few trades weren't great for ShoWTimE, but I wonder if it was just good because it was just continue to force units and just, you're up a bunch of workers already. Maybe you just kind of get away with that anyway. Resource lost is still in ShoWTimE's favor. His fourth base might be in some trouble, but if Lambo commits here, I mean, ShoWTimE also could probably roughly guesstimate that there's not going to be much more of a army elsewhere, right? So we'll see what these Elves want to do. The army shows up here. The Elves are going to come the long way around. They're actually going to basically invite the Banelings to crash into them. As ShoWTimE sees those Banelings, he's going to pull those Elves back. I would not hate the Elves going across. They could deny the gold base very easily, as Lambo has begun to drone. He's actually got Zealots in the main base already, so maybe we even don't need the Zealots to hit the gold right now, because the Zealots in the main are already causing some chaos. A few more drones going down. Lambo sub 50 workers, and now going to drone up beyond the 50 workers, which is where he is at, looking to cancel the fourth of ShoWTimE, which didn't even go down. The fourth base has survived. So it does feel as though ShoWTimE is going to end up in a very, very good position here on this game 2. Two missiles coming up, the Cannon, Immortal, and Archon all coming in. Circling's headed around to the upper side. The Prism trying to come in toward the main base, not quite able to yet. Goes in, but the Hydra's going to be in position on both sides. Prism dead. Nice catch from Lambo there. ShoWTimE just a little bit, yeah, just not paying attention to that Prism. Flying it in, turning it around nicely, but then obviously not paying attention to where it was going after. But 4 bases to 4 bases, and ShoWTimE still up in workers. Introducing Storm into play against the Lingbane Hydra army. Storm is going to be good against every single aspect of this Lambo force. I do feel like it was a shame, though, to not find even just a few Zealots here. This really feels like a very killable gold base. I really think he could have had a shot at it. I would have liked to have seen him try, because the Zealots weren't needed to defend this position in the end. And he had the harassment and the kind of attention being taken over in the main with the Prism before. Don't know where those Adepts are shading to, but they cancelled it to just die. As the Storm and Shield upgrades continue, we are going to be seeing a few Zealots crashing into an army down here. It's a little bit too much, as ShoWTimE is going to be forced to split effectively right now. With static defense on the right side, I think he's very okay. He's going to have all of the Storms over to the left. Got the stasis coming down. The Lings are going to get a wrap around. A few Zealots begin to drop. Hydra's coming through. Those Zealots will fall. The rest of the Hydra's going to make their way over the right. There's again a Storm coming down. The Hydras get pushed back. On the right-hand side is just a stasis catching a few of those Zerglings already. Now we morph in the Banes. I mean, we kind of see it coming. The High Templar sees it. You probably don't want to drop the Storm here. You probably want to save it for the Banelings when they commit. I think ShoWTimE says, if you've got so much over here, surely I can push out on the other side and be a bit more aggressive even. I think ShoWTimE gets overwhelmed on this right side the way that this is currently setting up, although I love the Archon in the front. Get rid of some of those Banes early. Now we storm a bunch of those Banelings, and it does land nicely. 2 High Templars here in total. Oh, Storms on this corner is going to be brutal. That's just typically where everything's going to head to. As the Banes doing their work, though, at the same time, the fight in the top left is being disbanded. And Lambo backs away. ShoWTimE does have to pull over to the right as well. Get a few more units here to help out. He turns back to the left, so he will not just let this army be abandoned here. The Zealots get there to be in front of some Immortals, and that should be good enough. As now these Hydras not going to have an easy escape through the center. The Lingbane commits through to save, but obviously the Archons are just going to farm those all day, all week. And we're just going to say GG. This one's gone a bit too far, and we are going to get tied up 1-1 in this best of 5 between ShoWTimE and... In the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we're going to have our red Zerg player. This is Lambo. And in the top right, our blue Protoss, we have ShoWTimE. Map on the best of 5 whenever this gets up onto match point. Fun, scrappy game so far. Very enjoyable. Match guess coming through and get this underway. Maybe taking a couple of moments. Nexus building, and then the hatch gas and pool coming up. We got our cyber core coming through. It'll take a few moments here on Ultra Love. As our probe comes down to the bottom of the map. Full about to finish, hatchery completing, the cyber core halfway done with the Nexus coming online as well. The probe goes back to the upper right side, again a couple of Queens, Zerglings, link speed now as well from Lambo starting up, so we get all of that underway, bring that through. Get that going for the moment. Stargate from ShoWTimE. Obviously Stargate both games so far, but with very different follow-ups. That aggression of Adepts in that second game. Definitely catching Lambo a little bit off guard at first, putting him into a very difficult position. And Oracle just chrono boosting through in the Stargate, the Warp Gate coming up, 2 more probes in the gate coming around. We got our Queen and Link Speed coming up as well. Hatchery halfway done for the moment. Add on some drones and some Zerglings. Pylon going to finish in the bottom right corner. This drops down. A couple of Adepts gathering up, and drones, overlords, queens coming through. The Evo chamber coming up as well. We had that Twilight Council and Nexus on into play. We had the Oracle up. We'll just see our Oracle heading down to the bottom left-hand side for the moment here from ShoWTimE. So Oracle heading about. Means we'll shoot the Oracle. Gets pushed back around. 2 extra gates coming up. The Nexus is halfway done. Twilight Council finishing shortly as our melee upgrade, also in production here from Lambo. We've got the Revelation. Some creep tumors begin to get cleaned out. That melee upgrade coming through. Bane speed coming up. It's actually, Bane's coming up. Very interesting because we're playing Glaives again here as ShoWTimE. Now Glaives is obviously going to like playing against melee because it means there's not going to be a chance of roaches on the map. The Banes can make a big difference though, and Banes are very good against an Adept attack that doesn't have a Warp Prism. If you have a Warp Prism, the issue with Banes is that you use your Banes to clean up the Adepts, and the Prism just warps in more, and then you still just got Zerglings. If there's no Prism, that warp-in comes further away, you get a bit more time to really build back up and get maybe a couple more Banes ready to help with the defense, so there is a better chance at it. As these adepts already, again, a lot of adepts right from the start. No glaives ready just yet, just trying to threaten, trying to force a, commitment against this. Oracles move around. Our adepts are going to try and shade toward that fourth base. The hatchery on the bottom side coming up as well. Adepts will get rid of one creep tumor. Adepts are going to threaten the shade. They are going to try and break into the natural, which they should be able to do. Here come the banelings. Not a lot of space to split right now. They shade into the back of the third. Not a lot of space to split there either, but the Bane's being slow or struggling to figure out where they want to be. They're actually going to abandon this position and just not use the banelings yet. So the Adepts have a chance. I don't think they can shade over to the other direction here just yet. I think they're too far away to get into the choke point they need to be in to stay safe. Things still wrapping around. The Adepts going to get blown up a little bit. A few more of those Adepts going down right now. Alright, this is a much better defense from Lambo than what we saw previously as all of those Adepts go down. Resource loss is going to be pretty much dead even, and of course Adepts do not, Adepts that have been killed do not transfer well later into the game. I don't think Lambo, ShoWTimE lost so much that he's, dead to a counterattack right here. Although Lambo is building nothing but lings at the moment, so maybe he's just going to send in 55 drones in the game. He is starting to commit. Lings gather, a couple of drop lords start, no surprises. It is Blink as the follow-up here from ShoWTimE. He's going to get one overlord at the front. Whoa, he's going to build a next. I don't think ShoWTimE realizes how committed Lambo is being. Like, ShoWTime's like, hey, I want to commit. But actually, like, Lambo wants to commit ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE needs to try and figure that out. The Oracle goes down the Queen's reach for a final shot there. Like I said, I don't think ShoWTimE recognizes just how aggressive Lambo is wanting to be. No Oracle to protect these Stalkers right now is scary as we're camping out the Lings coming out of the Stasis. There's a new Stasis coming in around the back. He blinked backwards, but then the Lings show up there already. The Stasis is going to help. I mean, it's kind of a choke point. I don't think ShoWTimE really wants to fight here. He is going to blink. He is going to start running. The Queens are going to be coming as well. ShoWTimE losing a lot. Like I say, he's committing to an attack which is basically... Or he's committing to an attack which was not really ideal because his opponent was looking to attack as well. We pull all the way back. The Queens are going to show up. We start to morph Banes in because obviously right now Adept would have just been good warp-ins to have against what is a massive Zerglings. Try and warp in a few more Stalkers. We drop some Creep Tumors down right on the front doorstep. The Banes are going to be a big problem. There's, everything's clumped up together right now. Banelings are just going to have absolutely huge amounts of value to be found. Can ShoWTimE somehow live in these choke points? The Banes find the center of the Stalkers. There's more Banes ready to go. The Stalkers are right tucked in the back. Do we have any more warp-ins? I really don't think we have a defense here for ShoWTimE. I think he committed too much out into the center. I think he's going to be in too much trouble as our Lings continue to just shred their way through unit after unit. I just don't think ShoWTimE ever gets enough of. He's going to get a few more Adepts in right now, which again should in theory do well against the Lings, but yeah, it's just not enough. And ShoWTimE attempting Glaives a second time does not succeed. Well, I think wanting to be a Baneling in anybody's army is a pretty depressing job, so... But your job is to literally blow yourself up, and there's no army in which that's an ideal time to be a Baneling, Like, you're destined to die. Hydra's not necessarily, so... Top left side, Lambo up 2-1. And a fourth game, if he wins this, he is in the semis. Bottom right. Our red Protoss here is ShoWTimE. What does ShoWTimE do in game 4? Whispers of Gold. I think it's a good map for Lambo to get aggressive on if he wants to be kind of queen walking, perhaps. Yes, we will see. We'll see our hatch pool. Gas coming through. We get that underway. Just this probe. Excitement for the moment as it comes and nibbles up and steals a few minerals away. Drone stepping over. Moving around again, the adept coming over. Stargate is going to be coming up from ShoWTimE. Had a couple probes and the adept on into that as well. One adept is going to come shading. The Zergling will be chased. And the adept going to get rid of that laying up in the main base, getting that down. Speed is about to finish up. Again, the Oracle and the Warp Gate coming through at the moment. Do not expect to see Claves again at this point. I'm just going to pull back. Not going to let too much happen too early on. And that Oracle just feels about. Going to take a couple different positions, support the Adepts for a few moments. The Zerglings continue across the map. Things get turned around. We are just going to see the couple queens continue to produce on through. So Lambo just setting up here. ShoWTimE with the Oracles, moving back over to the other side for the moment. Oracles activating, actually getting 3 drones. Nice little starting point, but one of those Oracles super low now. We'll shade on up. Away we go. Things move around again. Twilight Counts and the Forge coming up. We're just going to be seeing these Adepts shading and threatening. Obviously, no glaives on the way, just the typical Twilight Forge. So looking towards Blink or Charge here is going to be a choice after these Zerglings get in for a couple of those Adepts already getting those grabbed. The Oracle's activating to get a few more drones on top of everything else. Queen's pushing those back as well. The Stalkers will shoot, a couple of Lings get pushed away. The Oracles continue to hit the hatchery going down on the left side. And +1 Blink continuing through. We had those probes and the battery online as well, so we bring that straight up. Oracle's going between the bases. And the Oracles pull back over. More Zerglings on the way, +1 missiles coming up. Temple Archives comes through as well, so ShoWTimE just prepping himself some defense now. These Lings are threatening a counterattack as ShoWTimE moves out. He's done the same kind of movement here in previous games with Adept and Oracles. This time, obviously, it's 3 blink timing. So the Lings are going to try and threaten during this, but the Warpin's coming on the other side. Just Stalkers don't deal super well with these Lings. We are going to start putting some pressure onto this hatchery, but there's another 4th base coming up. So even if we kill this one, the base on the 12 o'clock will come online. And ShoWTimE going to be able to get this one as a free pickup. So, yeah, 4th base goes down. Like I say, there's an alternate 4th coming through. These Oracles just go for a check through the main base, checking the mineral lines. Oracle's turn. Again, Storm starting. Gates coming through. High Templar's coming up. We do see our Hive coming in. He had the Hydras on. The Ling Hydra coming back around to the top for the moment. Got a couple of those stasis wards in right in the front of this 4th base, so just protecting. And there's again the Storm coming up as well. We'll have ShoWTimE just moving around with these Stalkers. Gonna get rid of some of the creep spread. Lurker down on the way up from Lambo once more, so maybe gonna see a game a bit more akin to that opening map on El Dorado. Obviously, very different map for it to play out on, but similar idea, similar armies. Interesting to see if Lambo can find ShoWTimE as outpositioned as he was on El Dorado a few times over. That was definitely one of the kind of interesting factors of the whole ordeal. That opening game, just ShoWTimE was consistently just caught out here, caught out there. This game, he's fast to the Fleet Beacon in the second Stargate again. Is really for ShoWTimE right now, defend this first wave, and then you kind of have access to the Stargate and the Fleet Beacon to kind of begin setting up a little better. As rocks will go down, the Oracle see the army coming from the right side as well, although arguably you shouldn't put a stasis water down in front of that because it should be an easy pop for Lambo. Stalkers move forward aggressively to find themselves a Queen. Tries to target fire the Hydra. And then coming from the other side, Storm available, hits the Hydras nicely. The Stasis Wards catch a lot of the Lings, and that's already a good defense here from ShoWTimE. So that starts to look very good as the other units gather up. Again, Seismic Spans coming through. Adaptive Talons coming in. Not Adapt, that's the Lunge, right? Yeah, probably not Adaptive Talons. The Nanomuscular Swell. Hydra Lunge upgrade coming through as well, which has actually had a role in that first game as well. Actually helped you to chase down Tempest a couple times over. Nice little catch there, catches a few units and uses the Storm to help you disengage, finding value with the disengage. All those Lings being half HP means they're basically one-hittable. Takes away so many of the shots necessary from the rest of the army to chew through all of that. And plus 2 minutes, Seismic Spines coming up. We do see the Swell, like I say, the Lunge coming through with the Mudship and Tempest from ShoWTimE, so he's ready, very ready to deal with the Lurker count. He will have the tools necessary to fight that. I like ShoWTimE's confidence as well, just blinks forward there, gets rid of a Lurker. The Stalkers pull back, that's a nice Storm onto a bunch of Lings. Two more Lurkers begin to morph in. We add in some Vipers. Hydra's coming up as well. Oracle's just going to drop down a little Revelation. Then our Spire continues to come online. We get the Tempest and the Immortal coming up. Add an Archon on as well. Hydra Lurker still gathering. We just have the units on both sides joining up. Stasis Ward's coming down. We step up. A couple of those Crypt Demons getting knocked away at the moment. We're going to get rid of that right side base. At the same time, we hit on the left side. No High Templars over here, so no Storms available to begin with. However, there's also... Okay, there is actually some Hydras. I was going to say, the Oracles maybe could have hit the Lurkers. Maybe ShoWTimE thought the same thing. Move those units forwards, and in the end comes across with the rest of the army. So those few Lurkers go down. this already feels very different to El Dorado, because there's no moment here where Lambo is like truly catching ShoWTimE out of position. That's why Lambo found so much of the success on El Dorado, and he was able to do so much damage to that economy. This game, ShoWTimE's economy is looking strong, it's looking stable, and that means that as all of these fights happen, if they unfold in similar ways even to El Dorado at this point, ShoWTimE's going to be doing it in a way better position, which is going to make his life so much more difficult. Line's going down. We are going to see the Lurkers trying to come in from the back side of this. We're going to pop the cloaking. That's not going to help. Time Warp coming down as well. Another Storm or two. Stop the Hydras from chasing, but we're running away through Lurkers. It's dangerous. Parasitic Bomb on the Mothership hitting the Tempest a little bit as well. There's a Viper there that'll go down as the Tempest shots are able to reach it. We have more reinforcements coming across the army, joining up from ShoWTimE on the right side. And I think his army here still overall is much better at the moment. Going to get them. We are going to force a cancel. It's the one thing we are succeeding at. The 5th base of ShoWTimE is being delayed and denied for the moment at least. Adrenal glands coming through. The +3 missiles coming up. Let's have some Lurkers hanging out on the far left of the map at the moment. The Dropper Lord coming in as well. So we bring that through with a couple Hydras. Some more Lurkers still. I was just going to charge up and then get taken down. The Lurkers with a cool little their spines surged out in every direction there as ShoWTimE is nearby enough to at least fight those Lurkers. The question is, do you want to fight those Lurkers? He's got a good push heading to the top side. Is attacking in here just going to be a little bit too expensive? This base will go down. There's a drop, a lot of Lings moving through. This army moves across. Do we have detection in case there's a Lurker defense? I don't even know. I don't think so, right? Well, Lambo's already evacuating the base, so he's just give up on the top right. ShoWTimE just AFK there because he's, I guess, dealing with the drop and other things. But yeah, left his army just to stop for a few moments, so missing out on maybe some timing advantage that he could have had. Lings in the main will not do much. The space goes down. This group of units will start to step away. Like I said, we do not have detection here. ShoWTimE will now hit the bottom left base as well, so continue to play this split army. Can Lambo catch this split army and force a fight? Full army versus half, essentially. If he can do that, that would be a very, very good scenario for him. Is you see a step forward, the Spine Crawler and the Spore Crawler taking some hits, a little Revelation coming down, the Corruptors and the Viper's going to come in from the other side. There's an Abduct just to get a free Tempest. Storm came in just a little bit late there to really protect us. We move back up on the top right-hand side as well. The Tempest is going to get some Lurker shots here, so they're going to get rid of those. Lurkers were in position top right. That's denied ShoWTimE from continuing to commit there for the moment. But we're going to dive on this, and ShoWTimE's not watching. Finally, the High Templars start to drop the Storms down, the Time Warp as well, but a little bit too late. The ground army could potentially chase in the end. I mean, everything in the sky is going to get ravaged, but that includes the Corruptors getting shot down by the Archons. Man, the Mothership tanks for a long time. Mothership didn't die! Mothership will live and will regen its shield. Oh my goodness. Lambo missing out there, did not finish it off as he got afraid of the Archons, and rightfully so. The Archons started to melt those Corruptors. Down. Not even getting the Mothership is absolutely brutal. As the army steps up, Lurkers in the center would like to maybe move about. A couple of those Lurkers going to get burrowed as... I mean, ShoWTimE's about to collapse in on these Lurkers on two sides. The army from the left is going to come back across as well, so in we go. Lurkers firing up a lot of damage. There's a lot of Lurkers coming in as well, so actual extra reinforcements showing up. ShoWTimE did lose the Tempest, right? So one of his better ways of dealing with these Lurkers, slowly and chipping away at them, kind of got reset in a big way. Got to be very careful now. A couple of these Tempests doing what they can, but the Corruptors are going to step forward, and the Lurkers are just so good positionally. ShoWTimE is already counterattacking with his army up to the top side. So he goes straight across. He'll knock down Creep. He'll probably get some bases, but he's already lost one base. He does have 4 bases just along the bottom of the map. If you ignore this right base, he would still be on 4 bases here as ShoWTimE shows up. And how much of a commitment do we have? We recall on the probes, so we're going to save those. Doesn't even get rid of a base yet. He only killed a couple of drones as well. And ShoWTimE's got to be careful because the army on the bottom right from Lambo now could actually come up and maybe surround that force as well, create even more issues. Lambo is going to have ShoWTimE hitting him on the far left-hand side as he continues forward with his own attack. So we just have aggression all over the place. Players are going to be whacking each other, and this is going to become extremely chaotic as we enter something very akin to a base trade. I mean, this absolutely is just a base trade at this point. As suddenly ShoWTimE gets Lambo all the way down to just 3 bases. We are trying to fight through these lurkers. We're actually getting held up by the drones, though. The drone pull is so good. It absorbs so many of the high unit plays or shots. So the Archons and Immortals wasting a lot of their hits and giving the lurkers time to deal damage. And ShoWTimE still eventually has to figure out these lurkers over here, although he does have Tempest that can start coming in. How many Hydras are on the map? 7? It's not a lot. We're going to be on 5 Tempests shortly. There's just not a lot of anti-air, although there is a mass of Corruptors. I guess I forgot to check in on those. The Time Warp going to go down. We're just going to commit into this apparently, but no detection. Observers were a bit out of position. They're coming over now. They need to be careful because the Overseer is there. The Corruptors can just get rid of the Observers. We have a new Observer build, and that'll be the only detection available on the map. And Oracle builds as well, more reliable detection. As maybe that's just what we need right now. ShoWTimE, I think, is getting bullied about, though. I think Lambo is succeeding here as the cannons get rid of the Lurker. Corruptors sit overhead. They come back through the center. Hydra Lurker still getting hit. Oh, the Corruptors flying over Archons. Like, Lambo does not have a lot left back at home because he's obviously lost a lot of his bases. He does not have a lot of mining. ShoWTimE is still trying to figure out how to deal with this army, if he can deal with it at all. He has more Tempests coming out. It's going to go up to 6 if he gets those to finish and doesn't lose any more. He really needs a way to deal with these lurkers somewhat effectively because we're not really in the business of rebuilding right now. And we go. The High Templars are going to try and drop some of the storms off. We are going to be able to force these lurkers to unburrow and run, which gives us a good shot. The units coming in from the top side get delayed by storms. So we get a few units as ShoWTimE here already. Going to turn around again. Going to start pushing into this one. Units are clumped up. The Blinding Clouds are coming into play. Do the lurkers do enough? Lambo's army is dropping. The Corruptors coming through as well. The Archons try and get rid of the Corruptors. If you get rid of the Corruptors, the Tempest could maybe carry, but oh my goodness, it's absolute chaos. There's a couple of Mortals and Archons left on the ground. Do we have detection? Yes, the Observer. It's too far away. Bring it back over. The Corruptors go down. Tempests still live. Lambo on 40 army supply. ShoWTimE's 48. And ShoWTimE, is he better off right now? No, Lambo's starting to mine a little bit extra. Production still exists on both sides. I think the problem is that Lambo's power was in the lurker count. Having a significant number of lurkers was extremely good. And now that's non-existent, right? He's got like 3 lurkers, and he doesn't really have the money to morph a lot more. So units like, storms and so on now become a lot more valuable because every unit that's in the game really does get hurt so much extra by those storms. That definitely becomes much more of an issue. But it's still a large enough army that Lambo would have a chance. I mean, it comes down to fights here. We rebuild a robo facility. We still have 1 observer. The Oracle's still alive too, so detection is okay. Lambo added on a chunk of Vipers because I think he realizes he might have to go for the slower approach rather than obviously, brute forcing lurkers into position and using their power. He'll probably have to now set up like an abduct here and an abduct there, try and find some slow efficiency with those Vipers. I think that's the way that you have to approach this at this stage, so Hydra Lurker. We'll step over the left side, the army coming over. We got ourselves forced to fight with here as the Hydras lunge back a little bit. Tempest will just shoot. The High Templars joining together. Overseer's getting pushed away. There's 1 abduct. There's 2 abducts. Do we actually kill the Tempest? We're going to just lunge forward with the Hydras. We have to re-abduct one of those. Oh my god, it's an absolute mess here. We do not have a way to fight. That was not it from ShoWTimE. He did not have a way to fight the lurkers. And obviously the Vipers finding efficiency. We lunge through. The Hydras will look to kill. And I think ShoWTimE is going to be kind of out of options at this point. The Tempest just going down. Storms are still good, but we're running out of storms very quickly. And Lambo finds himself 10 new Hydras on production, a couple new lurkers. There's not a good response to lurkers because obviously, like I mentioned, the Robo got killed at some point. So we had to start rebuilding the Robo before we could re-add Immortals. And so there's just not been any firepower really on the lurkers here. ShoWTimE spreads. He's got so little army supply in comparison now, though. Blinding Cloud comes down. We take a fight. It really should never be enough. And Lambo is going to take this 3-1 in the best of 5 quarterfinals. Lambo will advance through to the round of 4.